This is Gino Robair for GearWire at AES 2010 with Malcolm Toft. We're going to look at the Trident Series 82 board. He's going to kind of give us an overview of what's new and what's going on that's important in it. Malcolm?
Thank you. I'm very proud to present the new Trident Series 82. It's my first design since we got the company back in 2008. And it's my first new Trident console in some 25 years, so I'm very proud of it. It's modelled on the original Trident Series 80C, but with some new features in the channel strip, such as 4-band sweep EQ, modelled on the original Series 80, but it has high and low swept ranges instead of the original fixed. And we can switch between shelving and peaking on the high and the low ranges. And we can also vary the Q in the mid ranges just with a switch to vary between sharp and broad Q. So
are there preset Qs?
Preset Qs,
okay.
Yeah, just on a push button. The broad Q is the same as the original Series 80. And the sharp Q just narrows it up a little bit more. So we have the addition also of a sweepable high-pass filter where we can sweep between 30 Hertz and 350. So again, it adds to the flexibility. We have 8 auxiliary sends on every channel, 2 stereo, 4 mono. The other great feature on this console is that we have both inline monitoring and we also have split monitoring as well. So it combines the best of both. What this means is that because we've got high and low shelving EQ on the inline feature, and then we've got 3-band EQ on the split, we have 94 inputs to the mix, all with EQ. So it makes it an extremely flexible system. The preamp stage has the original Trident Series 80 preamp, but we've added a Lundal transformer to it. So it's a really nice sounding, sweet preamplifier. We've also got the option of adding a Lundal transformer to the direct output. That's a customer option. It has electronically balanced direct outputs, but you can add the transformer if you want to hear the sound of the transformer. We've also added transformer options to the master subgroup outs as well, so you can add 24 output transformers if you wish, but again, they're standard electronically balanced. We've also got, as standard, Lundal transformers on the master left-right outputs, just to give it that transformer warmth. The console also comes complete with an integral patch bay, TT patch bay. The console connects on D-subs, which are now the standard, of course, so everything's really easy to connect into the console. Installation's quick, yep. And you can add more rows of jacks to the patch bay just by using D-sub connectors. Yeah. So that's pretty well it, and the philosophy behind it is it's a Trident console.
So the EQ topology is exactly the same?
Absolutely.
With the exception of the new features.
It's the same circuitry, we've just added a few extra components to it to give you the switchable Q, because we feel in today's recording environment, people want a little bit more flexibility, and the sweepable high and low is a really useful feature. Having it fixed low and high at just shelving, a little bit limiting with what people want to do today, especially when I'm going to get the bass frequencies tuned in a bit more. So it just gives people a little bit more flexibility.
Now tell me a little bit about transformers versus non-transformers.
Well,
what does the transformer really buy you in the audio?
Transformers introduce a little bit of phase shift, they introduce a little bit of ringing sometimes. Some people find that, a nice thing to have. It's quite a subjective thing, but we felt that with a design like this, it was a good idea to offer people the option. For us, it's relatively easy to do. So everything is electronically balanced anyway, all the insert sends, insert returns, direct outputs. But we thought on the main features, which were the direct outputs, if you're feeding your multi-track for that, why not have the option of adding a transformer in? So those people that want the iron in the system can add that transformer to it. So that was the reasoning behind it.
Is it an all or nothing sort of thing, or can people do a little bit of half?
Absolutely, yeah. Every module, because it's modular, you could you could try a transformer on a couple of the inputs. Oh, yeah, I like that, or I don't like it, and you can add it to as many inputs as you want. Same with the subgroups. You could have 8 subgroups with transformers and 16 without. The choice is yours because they're individual strips.
Now, is this unit shipping now?
It'll be shipping in about 16 weeks.
Okay.
The price point for the console is the 32x24, as you see it here, with the patch bay, is going to retail at $68,000. Okay. The 40 input that we do, the next frame up, is going to be $80,000, and the 48 input will be $92,000. You can also add shadow mix moving fader automation to it. and you can add the transformer options as well. You can also short load this frame as the 32 with only 24 inputs, and that would retail just around the 60,000 mark.
And expand when you need to.
And you can expand when you need to because it'll have the blank slots. Yeah, absolutely.
So you've been in the business quite a while.
A long time, yeah.
Needless to say. What's your sense of the state of audio quality now?
I think
people's
the great
perception of it.
Well, I think the great thing now, Gino, is the fact that analog and digital cohabit now. I mean, there was a time 10 years ago I couldn't get arrested for an analog console. I couldn't sell a console to save my life because people said, well, what's the point? We've got 192K digital sampling, who'll need an analog console because sampling rates, solve that problem. That hasn't actually happened. People realise that there's a warmth to analog that you can't get with digital. And we were extremely successful with the Toft ATB console. We sold an awful lot of those, proving that people still want to mix out of the box. And once people are experiencing that whole analog feel of things, especially for teaching, we're finding when people teach, they need to teach on an analog console because students can get their head around that much more easily than a digital. So we've seen a lot of colleges, universities, get rid of their digital systems and put in analog. So what I like about the industry now is we can all cohabit. We're no longer looked as, Luddites or living in the past by producing analog consoles. There's a market for analog and there's a market for digital. I find that very exciting and I find that very healthy, that people can still work in both ways depending on how they want to record. So that's what I like about it. There has been a bit of a sea change over the last 5-6 years in particular, that people have come home to analog. Do
you find it inspiring in terms of coming up with new ideas?
Absolutely. I'm in a good place right now. As long as people still want to buy my designs and still want to buy my products and still there's a market for it, I love designing and I love being in this business, and I'll keep on doing it.
What do you think of the popularity of the lunchbox?
Yeah, well, that's another great thing, isn't it? It's standardization. It's good that they're, again, it inspires manufacturers. I mean, we'll no doubt be doing some modules for the lunchbox. And that, again, it makes it possible for manufacturers like me to get a small sample of my products into the wider world. A guy that can't afford one of my consoles, can't afford even one of my rack units, can maybe afford some Series 80 EQ and a lunchbox module. So that's all good, it's moving in a good direction. Definitely, yeah.
Thank you very much for
your time.
Thank you,
Gino.
Really appreciate it.
Thank
Have
you,
a great
my
show.
pleasure. Thank you very much.
Cheers.